You're listening to Brigade Radio 1.
Welcome to the Antisocial Show.
They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming to get you.
Your hosts, Block and Tyson.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Anti-Social Show, a show that says that knowledge is power, and without it, well, you just don't have knowledge or power. So there's a great source to get power, and that's through reading, of course, which is we're going to be talking about tonight. I am Hunter Block, and he is
Tyson Sainer. It's a very nice introduction. Continue, please. Sorry, I realized that you probably weren't done.
I was actually working on the intro. As you know, for years, I do different introductions every time we start the show. And so tonight I was like, what type of introduction could I do for the show tonight? And I mean, there was many different things leading up to this point, but that was more kind of like freestyle. So, like, I kind of like appreciate the freestyle, kind of like the rap when you just get up there and then start, like, you know, spouting things out.
Mm-hmm. And how much rapping do you actually do out in the world, Hunter, is my question, hearing you talk. It sounds to me like you're a bit of a rebel on the club scene now.
Well, I would love to be able to freestyle rap, kind of like Juice WRLD or Eminem or something like that. But unfortunately, I do not have that talent. I can get close, lucky every once in a blue moon, but it's like, nope, you have like one shot, it's right there, and if you don't take it, you're done. Come back to us in about a year or so, and then maybe you'll get lucky again. But
you know, I do have, that makes me have a question. For Ethan, who is, by the way, our guest tonight, did you want to, or we can just, because people who are seeing this they see that there's a third person, but we haven't formally introduced him yet.
Okay, so tonight is a very special episode of Anti-Social Show, and as Tyson knows, I love special episodes of Anti-Social Show, especially when we have a guest on, because we get to have fun with them, and we give them the conch, and it's kind of like we pull the racetrack gun or whatever that thing is called, and we say go, and they go. So tonight, our guest and awesome person, our friend, all around hero without the cape, and I'm going to do this in a very rock style way. So I'm going to say, finally, Ethan Dettenmaier has come back to the Anti-Social Show.
Well, thank you very much for that, man. What a privilege to be here. My first question is, who was your real guest? And I hope I can do well in replacing them.
Well, you definitely were the real guest. You are you are tonight's special guest, of course. So
you're full of shit, but I appreciate you lying to me, man. Thank you. It's good to be here, actually. Thank you. It's good to see you guys.
Thank you. It's good to have you on. We haven't had you on in a couple of years, so it's always nice to have you on to see where you're at in the world.
And what is the justification for that, if I can ask? A couple of years?
Yeah.
Well, episode production slowed down.
It did, and I went away for a little while. Life happenings, of course.
So nothing personal. Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, personal
definitely
life happenings. But we are hoping that we are now back on track. So we're still here. We're not going anywhere.
All right.
So we hope anyway.
Well, I'm glad to be back, even though both of you should be ashamed at yourselves for it taking so long. But
yes, we are.
We'll talk about that off air. But it's a privilege to be here just the same. And I'm glad you got through your incarceration okay, and you're now back in the world, Hunter. Nice work.
Thank you.
Question. Sorry, go ahead. Please continue.
It was more of a mental incarceration. I was at a very lovely hospital, and that is actually as far as I can get into that. But
Right.
wonderful people. I definitely changed my mental state, my health, because I really didn't realize how bad my physical health actually was. And that was contributed to, poor eating, lack of exercise. So I really had to just change everything around. But I feel a lot better.
Hey, bro, the future is as bright as you want it to be. So I'm glad you're getting after it. Nice work.
Thank you, thank you.
As Timbuk 3 famously said, the future's so bright, I gotta wear shades.
They did say that.
As
They did say that.
Chancellor Gorkon said, to the undiscovered country, the future.
Ah, yes, the future.
On high out.
I believe that was actually paraphrasing Shakespeare, though, so it's actually a roundabout credit. But whatever, it's your show.
And that brings us to the portion of the program I like to call "If You're Drinking, What You Drinking." So,
I'm drinking Diet Pepsi tonight.
Okay. That alrighty. Ethan, are you partaking this evening? Do you have bottled water or anything?
No, I'm good. I had some coffee earlier. I'm gonna have dinner with my family after this. So
yes.
I wish I could have something real sinister to report, but to me, it's actually a work day, and there's a lot to accomplish before this day officially ends. But next time around, I'll have a drink with you guys. What are you drinking, Tyson? What is that, Boone's Farm?
Boone's Farm, yes, Strawberry Hill. No, this is. I used to drink that though, not a lot, but often enough. This is honey flavored Evan Williams.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
It is not. It is different than my usual thing that I like to do for the podcast, which is of course 19 Crimes Snoop Rosé, which is
good choice,
quite delicious.
Good choice. Yeah. Although I don't like the Snoop vintage, but I do like the 19 Crimes approach. I'm a boxed wine guy myself, so I can relate. Congratulations.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the box of wine. Me and my other half went away for Valentine's Day, the weekend, and I introduced her to Firefly for the first time. And,
I've had that.
Yeah, and she found it quite fascinating, actually. So, and we, of course, if we have time in the show toward the end, we spent our Valentine's Day in a very haunting way, if you want to call it that, and we spent it in Silent Hill.
Oh, yeah.
In Pennsylvania?
Yes,
Isn't it
sir.
in Pennsylvania? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Where it's on fire, right? Because the coal mine underneath? Right.
Correct. And again, if we have time toward the end of the show, because you have something very awesome to share with us tonight, but before the end of the show, I have a little bit of story about that, of how that fire actually started. So anyway, Ethan is here tonight for a very special reason, and something that he did that's very awesome. I have a copy of it. So I just started reading it, and it's really good. I seriously just want to spend this weekend just in bed and not get out of it until I'm finished reading it. And that's, I think, what I'm gonna do is just take some me time and just
really
even order some Chinese food. I'm not sure yet. You know what I mean? But so Ethan, why don't you share with us?
Well, Chinese food is a good call for it. Let me just ask you out of the box, like how far into it are you?
A couple pages.
Okay. The contents, the table of contents. How's that read for you?
No.
The dedication at the front.
Let me ask you. Do you have the actual book, or do you have the comic book? I happen to have a copy of the comic book, which is based on chapter 1 right here. Is this what you have?
Oh, that looks cool.
I have digital copy of it.
Oh, that's nice. You got the comic book though, or the book?
The book.
Yeah, I actually recommend the book, honestly. The comic book's been a fun project, and it's been artistic, and it's been sort of therapeutic in that way, but the book is really where it's at. Thank you for picking it up. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So,
and what's that called again?
Your question? It's called No Quarter Kill All Masters.
Okay, so that's the hashtag then, or something like that.
There is a hashtag going around that's No Quarter Kill All Masters. I've seen the hashtag No Quarter, but I think that leads you to other things. And you're going to have to ask someone who's hashtag qualified to really answer that. But the book is called No Quarter Kill All Masters, and it's 30 chapters of just sheer havoc and chaos. And I should actually say, if you're listening to this, you can get it at Barnes & Noble.
You can.
Or, yeah, Barnes & Noble, or if you're in the Pasadena area, Vorman's Bookstore, or, Open Book. A lot of the independent shops have it.
Really?
or had it.
Wow.
I had 2 sell out, but
Nice.
Oh, very cool.
they should, yeah, those suckers. But they should be replaced, I would say, in a couple of days. It's funny, I got an interesting notification, and I don't know if you guys have ever gotten this or written anything or your friends have, but I got an interesting notification from Amazon who said it's 17 book sales away from being a bestseller.
Oh,
That
wow.
is awesome. That is awesome.
So that does sound awesome, doesn't it? I know that sounds like a totally self-centered thing to say here.
It's very
but I'm still
cool.
I'm kind of blown away by that because we wrote the book for fun.
Hmm.
You know,
Oh,
we just did a
absolutely.
fun little story.
Oh, and
So,
I do have to apologize to our audience tonight if I sound a little hoarse because last week, I caught whatever was going around and I could not talk at all. Throat was killing me, fever throughout myself. It was just bad. So if I sound a little off tonight, I'm just now getting better.
no explanation required, buddy. I'm sorry you're feeling that way.
No, that's okay. But
Mm.
so now you're 17 books away from it being a #1 bestseller, which is friggin' awesome.
It's amazing. And by the way, no, I've never gotten one of those notifications to answer your question, but please continue.
No,
It's a strange notification, though, isn't it? It was unexpected. But anyway, I think that's part of what caught me off guard about it is I didn't expect anyone to notify me. But anyway, whatever.
That's pretty
So
cool.
we have 30 chapters of like just pure chaos, like pure just
It
like
is.
out there. And so now like what was like your like where like every writer, because I've written like a few short stories myself, so I know how it's like. So when you were sitting there writing the book, right? Like what like wanted you to write the book and like what was going like were you transported to like a different time when you were like in your mind when you were writing this stuff?
Well, I'll tell you, it was not to bore your audience, but it was the craziest moment in my creative life. As most of you know, I was at Warner Brothers in feature development for a bit. And after that, I had done some script doctor work for like John Divins, the producer of Blade. I did some stuff for Steven Seagal. And I sold a script. So I had some basic writing experience, but never gave this topic any thought. This was not my thing. And then one morning, I walked to my coffee maker. This is just so bizarre, right? I walked to my coffee maker and like bam, the whole story was there. Like I had the main character. I had like the philosophical elements. I had what the sum of what the different themes would be. And I just went down and started writing it. And I literally wrote like maybe 10 or 15 pages, like right out of the gate. I had to leave and do a job at a convention, an appearance for some radio appearance. But came back and I had pretty much the whole story worked out. It was the strangest thing because, you know, you would expect with a story like this that somebody would be like an enthusiast, but really I'm glad I wasn't because it gave me kind of a fresh angle and a fresh perspective on what the subject matter is. It's like a different approach and a unique one, and that's probably because I didn't know too much about it or wasn't like an impassioned like student of this kind of thing. But I just had the story one day. I literally thought like it starts at the gallows with a prison break in New Orleans at midnight of a prisoner that may be the devil.
Ooh.
And then chapter 2 was really where it took off in my head. A school teacher en route to the Americas who gets in a frightening shipwreck where the hull collapses and the ship turns over and he gets washed off the deck, but he could hear the people inside the ship, and he gets washed ashore on an island of cannibals, and where he and the characters in the Jailbreak chapter 1 meet. And it was just there. I mean, elements were probably employed in earlier works theories and things I played with, but it was fun. So I can't say I can't claim some real architectural approach to like breaking down the story. I don't even know what like traditional storytelling is. I just told the story I wanted to hear in a sense. Does that make any sense? Like I didn't think anyone was ever going to read this. I look at reviews. There's some on Barnes and Noble. There's some on Amazon. And I read those things, and I'm kind of like amazed because I didn't think anyone was ever going to read this book, actually. And I got to go do a thing at my mother's book club now. Like those are things I never thought I'd be doing. So it's kind of funny because literally I told the story with all I just decided, look, we're just going to cut loose and write a story that is just a cyclone of steel and chaos. Like there's no rules because no one's ever going to read it. So bam,
Right.
I just like it was like a machine gun of ideas, and I just started throwing these things out there, and these crazy scenarios and these philosophies and sort of these misconceptions of the world around us and what it means to where do you decide to embrace rebellion and who are the bad guys and what are your principles and when do you compromise those and what is your code of conduct in this life and all those things that you may learn or you may be taught or you may experience, and I just let it all go and I put in any colorful element I could, and unfortunately we ended up with a 500-page book. I'm sorry.
But that's
Wow.
but that's it sounds like it's very creative, and it sounds like it sounds like kind of like what we're going through in real life, but you're just telling it in a very entertaining way, which is nice. It's a lot, as far as like rebellion and chaos, and just where do you draw the line, and who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, and it's just a massive free for all. So it's definitely, you told it in a beautiful way.
Well, thank you. I mean, at some point, you have to decide what the code of conduct is you're going to live by
Right.
for all of us at any point in time. So that became kind of the centerpiece of the book, and the Articles of Confederation that you're going to live under, and you gash your thumb with a samurai sword. You put your thumbprint in the book, and you sign your name, and that becomes the rules that are going to govern your existence moving forward. And you just have to decide what principles you're going to live by and what's important to you. And a lot of times it's not what we've been taught, and the world is not what we believe it to be. You get out in the real world and you find out it's completely different than what you've been instructed on and instructed in. I guess that's one of the there's a lot of different themes in it. There's an endless amount of themes in it. Religious freedom is a theme.
Nice.
There's a lot of themes that, for example, the world itself that it takes place in, which is the ship, the Venger, is like because it's circumnavigated the globe, and one of the decks is haunted. Like
Yes.
it's got
Yes.
like
I love that ship.
it's got like rogue samurai on it from Japan, and it's got like Arabian, Moors who pray 5 times a day during a cannon bombardment, and then it's got your European war veterans who have joined the ranks, or Chinese Marines, and it's got your Native Americans from Salem, the Witch City, who've joined up. It's got these different elements because the ship goes from battle to battle, port to port, with a constant sense of conscription. So
Wow.
it's got Aztecs on it from New Spain, which is Mexico, who don't like gold. They think that's ridiculous, but fight so they can get weapons to run to other Aztecs that are fighting the Spanish. And it's got like rogue liberated slaves from like the west coast of Africa who paint a skull on their face. But, the Moors pray 5 times a day. The Christian crew members, such as they are, they have their Sunday service on deck, and the Moors take their duty stations when they're having that moment. So it becomes about the philosophy of it is these things like religious difference don't really matter in the harmony of an attack plan. What you want is someone that can fight good, and you don't give a how they believe what they believe. What you want is someone who's like a master at all things, weaponry, gunnery. And so the code of conduct becomes these simple things, these simple practices, whatever makes a man a better man, they're entitled to do. So that was one of the themes. There was a lot of other themes about sort of political corruption, the exploitation of the human race, things like that. It's a character who's a school teacher leaving Bristol, England, and when he gets to the New World, which is Port Royal initially, he goes ashore with like rogue samurai and like veterans of different foreign wars and some Native American guys and some, and he realizes that they can walk into any pub or cantina. But he also realizes right away that that would not be the case back home in Bristol, that they would not be allowed in. Not that you could keep the group out, but he realizes quickly that it's about skill, and life becomes about real quick about what you are worth as a human being and what your skills are versus what your color and culture may be. So that was, so I had an opportunity to kind of play with interesting elements, not to bore your audience, but I was not going to I never thought I would write a book like this. This was not in the cards. But once I got going on it, man, it was a lot of fun. I told the story to my daughter when she was, in the hospital. I had a lot of fun putting it together. I had a lot of fun doing the comic book and getting the visual together. And, I also learned a lot because when you write if you have characters, as your audience knows, if you have characters that are, say, from which city of Salem, superstitious or Hurons, you want to know what language do they speak, what are their customs, what do they practice, so the book has a taste of authenticity in it, right? So I learned a lot about all these different cultures, and from Zulu, there's a couple of Zulus in the crew, to the French Foreign Legion in Algeria, to all kinds of different types of individuals from South America. I learned also a lot about weapons like bolos, and different weapons different people use.
Bolos.
So it was a learning experience. Exactly. It's two or can be three steel balls at the end of a chain, and this character uses two. But it became a real unique experience. So I'm here to answer any questions I can. It's good practice for my mom's book club meeting coming up.
Wow.
They're hilarious.
That's going to be entertaining for sure. Go ahead.
Well, my mom, I'm going to tell you, my mom is a brutally honest person, especially with me. She'll tell me everything I'm doing wrong. But she called me, and also Russ Woody. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's the Emmy winner who helps us out writing A Christmas Carol every year.
I've heard his name.
Yes.
Yeah, both of them got the book, and they were both being cool about it. But my mom called me first, and she goes, I did not expect to like this book. I loved this book. And I honestly thought when she was calling me, I'm like, here it is. Book is very violent. The book is very direct. I mean, the phrase no quarter, means no prisoners.
Yeah.
So, and that's a theme of the book as well. Your code of conduct in an action situation. So she was like, I did not expect to like this book. I really enjoyed this. And then Russ Wood, and I was like, okay, you're my mom.
Right.
But then Russ called me, and I was in the parking lot of my daughter's school, and he goes, I am so sorry this book is over. And I was blown away by that. And, maybe they're just telling me that, but he did not have to call me. But he was like, I am so sorry this book is over. He's like, I am so sad. I don't know what I'm going to read now. And he reads stuff he's written a couple of books, too, that are actually fantastic. But he's like, I did not expect to like this book. And that's actually why, I should tell your audience, I don't really say what it's about. Because on the surface, if I tell you, you may decide if you want to read it or not. However, I have been told, and I do believe, if you start reading it unaware, you kind of get sucked into it, and you kind of forget that it's a subject you may or may not be interested in, because it goes to sort of unique and rather, at least from my point of view, new places.
Cool.
Now,
yeah.
When was the last time you guys saw a bunch of pirates rowed ashore under a cannon barrage from their decks to fight on the beach with a bunch of regimental samurai?
never.
In this book, you get it.
Exactly, and you know what? I love samurai. So the fact that and pirates too. I love pirates. So the fact that it has everything is awesome. So my question that I've been formulating in my mind is that now you said that you did this book and you made it as chaotic and you just put all these things together because you didn't expect people to read this book. But now looking back on it, do you think if you'd done it any other way you would have gotten the same reaction?
I don't know. I mean, that's a question I don't think I can answer because creatively, the story writes itself. You guys are pretty creative, so there's a point where it starts and there's a point where it stops, and it's like it writes itself. So there became a point where the ending was fitting, and that's where the story ends. and it just felt right. So I don't know. Like I had no strategies writing it. Like other people have said, no, you do you do like your list. Like this is your act one, and this is your act two, and I don't know about any of that shit.
Well,
I was
it's
like, no, this is what I feel should happen here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. It's just it sounds like that you know that that things should happen in it, and that you were that's good. You get so you made things happen in it, which is what people do tend to expect from books. So that's good.
I just had so much fun putting together. Like I never designed a thing where pirates would get in like a defensive battle square at the base of the pyramids with like Arabian tribesmen charging them on horseback from all four sides. Like those were things
like
that I wanted the story to go to,
like Waterloo,
like Four Feathers or something,
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go to unique places, and I wanted them to also have sort of a sense of duty and a sense of civility, despite the barbarian nature of the whole thing. And they have it looks at some really interesting moments in history too, because it's threaded with real events, even though the characters are fictional. And one of the big enemies in the book is the Rack Company, which is the Royal African Company, which was the slave trading unit of the British government. Basically, they're like one of the criminals, and how Spain, which is in a territorial colonial war with England on and off all the time, so are the French. But they don't practice in the art of slavery, but the Portuguese do. But the pirates know if you turn slaves over to the Spanish, certain emissaries illegally will sell them to the Portuguese. There's an illegal commerce that it gets into, and real like villain-like elements that basically exploited the entire globe at one point or another. Sorry for the tangent. I apologize.
Oh, history is always fascinating.
We go off on tangents all the time on this show. It's what makes this show the show.
Yeah.
No, but that does raise another interesting question. Will there be another book?
So there is another book. Well, there's an audio book coming out that's great because it has sound and music, and it's put together by Carlos Barbosa. And I would recommend. That's a fun way to hear the story. It's 30 chapters, but it moves very quick. I honestly initially said I'm not going to write another book, but would you fucking believe, excuse my language, the other day I told my kid, I said, I told my daughter and anyone else who's listening, I said, I think I got a perfect place to start a second book where each book would be about a different protagonist, but the ship and the characters on it are the same. So they're actually like the real stars of each movie, but there's another character that's introduced that tells the story a certain way. So in book 2, I thought it could be 2 highwaymen. Like in book 1, there's some character, like one character is a former grave robber, and at one point some of the guys are wanted for robbing a Bank of England in Gibraltar and possibly taking the head of a judge. And in doing so, they gun it out with a couple of resurrection men, which are people who wait in a gunfight or a criminal situation. I made it up, but wait for someone to drop dead so they can sell your body. They don't have to dig up a grave, so they're called resurrection men. And then there's another moment where they do a jailbreak disguised as plague doctors, knowing it will throw the guards off, and they carry a coffin in to Blackthorn prison to bust a guy out. And they have all their weapons under their plague doctor stuff but it becomes kind of a joke because the dude they bust out of the body cage is too big for the coffin, but they have to shove him in anyway because they don't have an outfit. He's pissed because he's claustrophobic, so he doesn't want to get in the box, and they're yelling at him because the guy who gets captured doesn't get to make the plan. So, they have a lot of... So I wanted to make sure the book had a sort of humor based in reality, not humor that was forced, like an organic feeling of a situational kind of humor and sarcasm that would go with these situations. But, every deck was a world. It's on a man of war. There's 1,000 people on it.
Oh, wow.
So the ship is like an entire world. There's a galley run by a guy named Hobby and a kid named Rory. There's like a pen with animals, and they raid constantly. And there's 3 guns, and the guns are named. Like they're stamped with names like Inferno and, Hellstorm. And like they literally take you into this place that is this ship called the Avenger. There's a doctor named Johannes who has like a partner from Africa who's like a former colonial witch doctor who has like all the trimmings of a West African doctor. But, they have a garden on the side of medical window bay because not everything can be found in books, and it opens up the possibility that the teacher that gets washed ashore and gets picked up by cannibals, he actually, in an unexpected way, temporarily gets transit on the ship. But he realizes that the privateers, because if you call them pirate, they get pissed off. It's a slur.
My great grandfather was a turned pirateer, actually.
Yeah, there you go. So
Yep.
in this book, the term pirate is offensive. It's like calling you a robber or a thief. So they call themselves pirate. But when he gets on the ship, he realizes that education is actually respected and knowledge is respected. Like, he can't fight worth a shit, and they have to train him. But they know he's smart, so he gets a pass. But what he also realizes is that the privateers, they don't give a fuck about things like whether or not the Earth rotates around the sun, but they do know topography, they know language, they know mathematic calculation for gunnery right off the top of their head. They're shockingly smart in ways, war-based. They're masters with the tomahawk, and they can make their own bullets, and they can, Anyway.
Everybody seems to recognize value.
Yeah. So he gets to tow. He's basically allowed to swab the decks once he can survive the first night. Swab the decks on their way to their first stop, and then things kind of go awry from there. But his destination is the Americas to be a school teacher. Will he ever reach it? Well, there's 30 chapters in which you can find out. Hunter will let us know in the next episode of the Antisocial Show.
I'm going to tell you what. I mean, in the next few days, expect to get like a bombardment of text messages from me, because like it's yeah, definitely probably like the best thing I've heard as far as like book wise in the past couple of years. And I know me, and when I get a book I like, and I definitely like this one, I do get lost. Like, people can't contact me. It's like, don't talk to me right now. I'll talk to you when I'm ready, when I'm like, want to eat a sandwich or something like that. But like,
Right.
It's definitely like that. It's kind of like, I'm expecting this to be like how I was during Stephen King's Dark Tower series. Every single book I was lost in, and I would stay up all night, reading this stuff, and then I had to go to work the next day, and it's like I was getting like 30 minutes of sleep, and oh yeah.
No. Let's hope this one checks out on that level.
Yeah, you did say it was around 500 pages?
It's like four. It's actually written in kind of an unconventional text too. Like, it kind of
slightly bigger.
Slightly bigger, but also in the way I wrote the story wasn't exactly the traditional alignment. So the font and the font, and there's a lot in there. I mean, it's difficult to explain, but
that's fine.
I would say initially, I think it printed out at like 400 and something pages. It's not actually a long read, though.
I've definitely read longer books. I mean, I had to look it up a little bit ago, but Weave World is like 627 pages, and
I've heard
a lot of story in that. So
yeah.
How many pages are actually in Moby Dick?
And engaging and engrossing. Sorry, how many pages are in Moby Dick? That is a good question. Yes, but
I don't know.
And well, there's about 25 on whale bones.
Oh, really? Wow.
No,
this doesn't get into that kind of detail.
That's actually not that much of an exaggeration.
I can read you a page or two if you really want to.
Please.
Yes.
Want me to grab the book? Give me 10 seconds and I'll grab the book. Hang on.
Okay.
Do it.
American edition had around 635 pages of Moby Dick. Whale bones, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, go ahead and do your thing.
Two historic elements here.
So Hunter is gone, but he will be back in a moment or two.
He said that was my chance to ditch out. I'm going to tell you, this is actually a collector's item right here, because this is the original cover.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty cool.
It's changed. So
that image has a sound effect.
Does it?
Yeah, it's like it's just the swords coming together. It's got the kind of like
there you go.
Yeah. It's very visually onomatopoetic.
Dude, I love what you're saying there, man. That's incredible.
Speaking of which, I'd love to know if imagine will it be some kind of I'm thinking limited series visual movie either way, but basically limited series visually, and it sounded like you were kind of like already working on season 2 in your head essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, fortunately, thanks to the business I come from, I had some breaks on that. Nothing official yet. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but let me tell you something about my feeling of the tapestry being slightly unique.
Mm.
I am kind of critical, and I don't mean to sound like one. I guess everybody goes through this in this situation. Like people are very, it's got to be done a certain way.
Oh yeah.
Now, the book does it the way I want, so it's been done my way, and I'm
Okay.
willing to bend a little bit. But you also got to make sure that the depth of the story you're trying to tell, I guess, doesn't get compromised because we're living in a day and age of the soundbite that may or may not be 100% based in fact,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
people don't care. People just react.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I want to make sure I could tell a story, convey elements and possibilities in a way that people can
Right.
appreciate. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know how much.
the
It
essence
all
of the
sounds
stuff you.
very,
Hmm?
huh?
Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
it all sounds very self-serving, doesn't it?
No, no, it's just it's a little inside baseball, but it's fine. I think there's yes, I think what you're saying, like where you need to like make sure the purity of the ideas stays focused in enough of a way
Yeah.
that the bullet points for the show Bible or will be, you got to make sure that those are adhered to keep the essence of what you're trying to get across pure, basically.
Right.
When
I would say so.
into the translation. That's how I interpreted that. So
Right. So, should I?
yes, please.
All right. So
Yes.
if you guys are ready, I will
Ready.
give it a little bit of a read here for you.
Alrighty.
Hold on. I've never done this. I've never actually read any of the book for anyone, so this is going to be a unique experience.
Awesome.
Okay.
Feel privileged.
So, let's see here. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you end up cutting this out, I understand. Okay. I was nothing more than a school teacher of mathematics en route to the Americas when a storm overtook our ship and tipped my world on its axis. Waves rolled over our decks. Men were washed overboard into the darkness. There was a wicked, satanic, monster-like sound from the hull as it was crushed. A hole was suddenly ripped into our superstructure as a wall of water came up from below, trapping passengers and crew in the darkness of the lower decks, and forcing the ship off balance. As you can see, I need practice.
Well, that's what this is.
That's what this is. I made it to the top deck as lightning struck the stern. Waves hit me and forced me across the planks, and I slammed into the railing, where I splashed over the side and suddenly dropped into the ocean below. It was dark and silent as I was dragged down into the depths. Suddenly, with the force of the tide, I splashed to the surface, gasping. I looked to see the ship as she capsized, lost. She spent the next several hours upside down, rolling on the ocean in darkness, hull to the sky. I could hear the faint screaming from passengers trapped inside with no way out. This dark part of the ocean was to be my grave. I lost my strength to tread water, and my world went black. Continue for a page or so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up in the tide at dawn and found that I and a few passengers were washed up on a beach of an unknown tropical land. I was hurt, exhausted, and broken, but I was also alive. The heat was stifling, the air thick and wet, and the sounds of the wilderness, tropical birds and such, were constant, close, and all around. The first few days on this island were spent making inventory of what supplies had made it through the storm with us and washed ashore, and trying to find a fresh source of water. Heat and exposure began to take its toll, and with the sun beating down on us day after day in crushing fashion. But something far more dangerous and wicked surrounded us, and I was unaware that our camp was encircled by death. It wasn't long before some of our survivors went missing in the night. The cause was at first a mystery. Why would someone wander off or disappear and not come back? And why would different people disappear at different times? This was far more sinister a situation than we came to suspect. And one night, we bolted awake to the sound of panicked screaming. Hysteria had raised the alarm in our camp. We cleared out of our fabricated shelters and surroundings and saw nothing in the darkness, but our ship's quartermaster was now gone. Something terrible had taken him. There was a sudden scream, and I turned away with my torch, just as two other members of our crew were dragged into the jungle wilderness. Cannibals. And they viewed us from the edge of the jungle with a keen eye. One by one, even though we moved the camp, more of my fellow survivors began to disappear over the next few nights. If we posted a guard, he was taken. Those who tried to move up the beach and relocate were never heard from again, and soon it was just me. I made an effort to find a quiet place to hide, but an island is just that, an island. And my options were to become more and more limited. The beach was now out of the question. And as the days passed, I moved from place to place and eventually found what I believed to be a safe refuge, under a waterfall. But one morning, when I went to take a drink, I was suddenly grabbed by my scalp and overwhelmed by painted natives. I was forced to a wooden spit and carried into the jungle by runners. I slammed into trees and bounced through the wilderness as they moved and was only able to see the ground. Human bones, former survivors like myself, mapped the trail. I was brought to a clearing enclosed by some huts built on stilts and lit by torches, with a sharp bamboo fence decorated by painted human skulls around it. Native drums beat a tempo and mixed with some wicked chanting in the crowd. Here I was to meet my end, tied to a stake post with a fire being built at my feet. I, of course, was no hero, so I began the only rational course of action and started to beg for my life. I'd read at university about some island natives and how they hoped to absorb the qualities of their victims through consumption. Bravery was not a quality of mine. Panic and cowardice was much more natural, and these became the character traits I offered up. Through their gray war paint, they only smiled at my performance and seemed to laugh as they brought the torches forward. "I'm a cursed individual," I shouted. You should reconsider this. I'm a coward. I promise you, I will taste terrible. You'll hate the way I taste. I'll make you sick. Save yourself the trouble." Sheer terror turned my rant into a scream as they lowered me over the cooking pit. I recommend a balanced diet of fruit and vegetables," I screamed, and tried to blow the torches out as they passed them by me to ignite the kindling. It got hot fast. This barbecue was well underway. And when the native suddenly... Sorry.
That's fine.
You're fine.
The light's not great here. This is the end of what I'm reading here, though.
Okay.
It got hot fast. This barbecue was well underway when the natives suddenly became still. Very still. Almost frozen in place. And suspicious of something. It became dead silent, and no one moved. They looked almost nervous as they peered into the edge of the jungle. Something seemed to frighten them. Then, without warning, the jungle seemed to open up and be pushed apart as men emerged from the wilderness. These men appeared fierce, large, and strong, tan and weathered, as if they had spent many a week outside in the tropical sun. Their eyes were fixed and still. They were armed with fighting blades and pistols. One at the front appeared to resemble the natives of North America. His face painted with a sinister black across the eyes and a black handprint on his shoulder. He carried a large gun and was outfitted with an axe and a knife in his sash. Others were covered like Moors, armed with large armed with large swords that curved. Another man wore a Chinese hat, like that of bamboo or straw, that covered his whole face with shade and made his features mysterious. His swords were on his back, and of a type I had never seen. Many were of a European look, with tan white faces, although the fashion of their clothes and weapons escaped me. Upon facing off with these natives, these men remained still, their movement limited to that of drawing breath. What was to happen next? I feared for sudden violence, but my position on a spit with a growing fire below me made my future bleak in any event. Suddenly, one of these men stepped forward and spoke in their native language. His voice had scratch and directness to it. He also used a set of hand signals to add to his message, and then he waited for a reply. After a moment of silence, he was met with words from one of my captors, to which all the other natives laughed. An imposing man, decked with a scar down his cheek, moved towards me, his voice low, his speech deliberate, and his words unknown to me. But my hosts understood him all too well, as their expressions changed, and many of them became fixed with a smile. For these men were all acquainted, and although I did not know the terms of their relationship, it was clear they spoke from a position of mutual respect. This man continued to move forward, motioned to me again, and the natives cut me free from the spit and removed me from the funeral pyre. Not a moment too soon, for my clothes were smoking. I fell to the ground, saved. The other men parted, and supplies and barrels and crates were marched up and turned over to my captors. Crates were opened up to reveal muskets, tools, and bottles marked by the St. Jacques Rum Company. Another one of these strangers stepped forward to me. He pulled my head up by the scalp and checked my eyes. My vision had cleared, and he gave a nod back to the more senior man on the team, and then helped me to my feet. "You're alive, son," he suddenly said. I managed to overcome my surprise to speak. You speak English." He gave me a cunning smile and slowly said, "I do, lad." He identified himself as Mr. Rush, pulled a large knife, and began to cut my bonds. Are they going to kill me?" I asked. "Not if we have anything to say about it. We just included you in the bargain." "Bargain?" He smiled again. "We traded for you." "The supplies." I looked to the weapons. "Is that all I'm worth?" I was given a very direct reply. "Today, yes." He stood back up. "Tomorrow, maybe more, if you prove yourself." He turned and was pitched a jug, which was in turn given to me. It was water, thank God. The man at the jungle's edge who opened up the conversation proved to be the master and commander of this expedition, and he continued to speak with a mixture of signs and this native tongue, and moments later, my cannibal hosts and my rescuers forced me on a walk through the jungle trees to a lagoon. Once there, these men began digging. The digging continued for many hours until the shovel blade struck iron. Giant iron boxes were then unearthed and heaved from the sand, and there were many of them. The locks were opened to have their inventories checked. Gold, the likes of which I had never seen. Spanish and French coins, jewelry, gold plates, even a crown. And I'd come to realize the compact that was in place here. These iron crates, which contained items useless to the island's cannibal inhabitants, were buried here for them to safeguard with their dining habits, in exchange for the supply and inventory delivered: guns, powder, foodstuff, canvas. And it was my good fortune to be part of this bargain. The natives gave aid, and this cargo was hauled to the beach as the sun began to set, and under the glow of torches and lantern light, it was loaded onto several longboats. This is the end. Bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was told to climb aboard with a forceful push at my back, so I did. I moved through the tide, and with some assistance and laughter, I was pulled aboard the launch. I was rescued. But by who? The ship in the bay got larger, much larger, as the rhythm of the rowing pulled us closer. It was a very imposing ship, marked with the word Venger across the back. I was unaware of the class system applied to ships, but would come to know this one as a man-of-war. It was painted in dark colors, had 3 gun decks, and looked like she had been under repair from previous battle damage. Then my fears became confirmed, and I suddenly became gripped with a new wave of tension. For there, under the glow of the deck torches, waved a massive black flag, marked with a skull and crossbones. Pirates, I swallowed. What was to become of me now? I could hear the deck commands from above as our longboat pulled aside. Cargo nets, ropes, and pulleys raised the chest to the decks as we made the climb up. I managed, in my damaged nervous state, to work the ropes and ladder enough to get to the top deck. This was a place of industry. Every man struck a formidable character, and clearly had both job and intention before him. I was given a hand and pulled over the railing by a massive man with dark skin and what appeared to be African paint on his face and shoulders in the pattern of a human skull. This made him appear fearsome and even taller than he was. He immediately pushed me aside and began to help the next man up. From here, I looked around and made my observation of men, mixed cultures working in common purpose. There were men in armor from the Japans, equipped with swords known only in that region, and others with the look of the Orient. There were Europeans, men scarred, some badly, and a man with dented chest armor with the coat arms of the King of Spain, and those who spoke Portuguese. There were natives from the Americas in the north and south. I could recognize from books. Some from New Spain called Aztecas, marked with tattoos. I heard some French spoken on deck and a word or two of Spanish, but the commands were given in English and without question obeyed. A man stood at the top deck by the steering, awash with shadows and moving orange lantern light. His arms crossed, his eyes fixed. He observed the work and said not a word. This man, it would become known, was Captain Essex, the master and commander of the Venger. The chests of gold were lowered through the large opening of the top deck and the cargo nets below, with the supplies of coconuts, tropical birds, and barrels of what appeared to be fresh water also taken from the native island and brought aboard by what was called a foraging party. From there, a hand reached out. From there, a hand reached out in the confusion, gripped my shoulder, and turned me around. Who might you be? My name is Donovan Reed, sir. Donovan Reed. An Irishman. On my mother's side. I see, he hissed. Well, nobody's perfect. He yelled to the man on the deck next to him. Mr. Archer, take this man to the sick bay. Let's see if Mr. Donovan Reed here can survive the night. Yes, sir. Under the observation of Mr. Archer and with the assistance of lantern light, I climbed below deck, banged my head on a low crossbeam, and was directed to keep moving forward. I walked past the cannon, housed in place and stamped with names like Sudden Death or Inferno and Storm of Steel, to the sick bay, or what was known as the infirmary or hospital. Dr. Johannes, Archer called out ahead as we walked under the medical sign. We have a new tenant for you. There, the doctor turned and asked me to sit. He held a candle close to my eyes to see if I could focus, and asked a series of questions. Are you unbalanced? Dizzy? I shook my head no. Do you have fluctuation of temperature? He checked me for fever. I was checked for malaria, scurvy, and yellow fever, which could be a death warrant. My answers proved that I was fit to be on board, and as my evaluation continued, I could see another man in English clothes, but with some native attire around the wrists and neck, like tiger teeth of Africa. He also wore face paint, which resembled the wilds of Africa, or so my books would have me believe. This man was assisting this doctor in the mixing of herbs and medicines. My eyes became fixed on the animal teeth fashioned into this necklace around his neck, and other curious beads and charms. That is Mr. Jenga Opo from the prairies of West Africa, the doctor said, since I can see you're curious. He checked my wounds and my cuts and prepared to stitch me up and prepared to stitch up the gash on my temple. I am. I know very little of Africa, or medicine for that matter. Mr. Yopo is a doctor in his homeland, unique in design and master of untraditional medicines and medical means. He looked back upon him and then to me. He's what the frontier troops refer to as a witch doctor, but I assure you, he is quite qualified. He began to work the stitches through my skin. And your name, sir? Dr. Johannes, at your service, he continued stitching. I spent a decade suppressing natives in that region, and although quite prejudiced to Mr. Yopo's ways at first, I soon became to realize that not everything that can help a man can be found in books. Mr. Yopo handed Dr. Johannes a steaming mug and in turn handed it to me. You may rest here for now, he pointed to the hammock. Until you get your strength back, he turned. Mr. Gordon! Yes, doctor, voice rang back from down the deck. Bread and bacon for our guest here, if you please. Yes, sir. How can I thank you? You'll earn your keep till we make port. From there, your life will be your own. You mean I'll be you mean I'll be free to go my own way? Of course. We're not white slavers here, son. He motioned to the mug. Drink up. I did as commanded, but struggled to expel it from my mouth, for it was not tea, but a medical drink made from plants and herbs that tasted like water from a pig trough. But before too much suffering, my world went dark. All right, there you go. Yeah, you guys are too kind. Anyway, probably a little longer of a sample than I should read, but I also am sort of sensitive to where you cut, you know?
Can you hear us clapping?
And I wanted to...
Could you hear that? Because I don't know. Because I was doing the snapping.
Should I say Finn? Should I say Finn? All right, thank you. I hope
good.
That wasn't too much.
And no, that was awesome.
That was
now
fantastic.
There's just
it was like
very evocative.
As you were reading it, I was like right there.
Thank you. And now there's just another 470 pages to go.
Nice.
But it gives you kind of a feel. I mean, that's the introduction of one character, and every chapter tends to go someplace new, and in many cases introduce someone. I mean, there's a couple hundred characters in the book. But, you know, I tried to keep it like I said, I wrote the story that I wanted to see based on sort of what I felt was fun, and that was the guiding principle in the whole thing, was just have fun with the book. Don't make it too heavy. Don't make it too sad. Don't make people burdened with it. Oftentimes I read and watch things and I regret that I did because I'm in a sad place. And this was something that was designed like, let's just make this whole thing fun. We'll have all these themes, but make the whole thing just a blast from start to finish in a way that seems plausible. But thank you for giving me a chance to read it. That's the first time I've ever read any publicly. So there you have it.
Thank you. It was
amazing.
Honor and a privilege.
It's very
you. You have a great voice,
I definitely know what I'm doing Sunday, so it's like I'm just basically cutting the world off, and I'm going to be in bed reading. So,
very kind.
My other half is just going to have to deal with it. So it's just like, nope, sorry. So
well, hopefully she won't give you too much of a tough time. But I thank you for doing that, and I look forward to hearing what you think about it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because you know that's coming. So.
Yeah, I mean, people have been pretty honest about it and pretty vocal about it, and it's fun to hear it. It's fun to hear people's take, and, you know, that's a unique thing for me.
Did I hear you say that it was available on Amazon?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Noble nationwide.
Barnes & Noble.
You can actually get a signed copy through the website, too. I mean, if you want that kind of thing. Which there's a No Quarter website, which has the whole story.
Oh, yes. What's the website? Is it...
It's called NoQuarterKillAllMasters.com.
So, yeah, see, that's great. You made it the name of the book, and you made it the name of the site. That's great and simple for people who have trouble with that sort of thing.
And plus, we can promote the hell out of the link and add it so that people can actually, when they come here to listen to this, they can actually go to the link and get their own copy of this and enjoy the badassery that is No Quarter Master.
No Quarter,
and there is
all
a trailer.
masters.
There is a trailer, and there's some fun things. And, you know, thank you guys. I'd like to know what people think.
It was noquarterkillallmasters.com. You had a question. Did you have a question, Hunter?
No. What I was saying was we can add the whole link to our website, to our show here, so that when they come listen to this, they can hit the link directly and get their own copy of it. And of course, look for this link all throughout our social medias, because this is definitely some badass craftsmanship. It's like, you know what? I don't think, like, honestly, like, I think, like, the way you structured this and the way you did it, it's like you can add like so much other stuff to this, and it would still like just add to the sauce. Like you take a good story sometimes, and it's like, okay, well, you have this, and it's perfect, so you really can't do much more with it. But like with with what you did was, it's you definitely just took a bunch of different things and blended it nicely. So it's like you can add like whatever to this thing, and it would still be cool. So or just add to the coolness and the uniqueness of it. So it's definitely something that I think our audience is going to absolutely love, and I can't wait to get some feedback for this. So and Ohioans, people from Ohio, I did not forget about you. Columbus, I don't think I forgot about you people. So
this is assuming they're still listening.
Yeah,
The Columbus is because
yes.
Sorry if I scared
them.
them off with my reading.
Absolutely not. But Columbus, it's been a couple of years. I've been calling you guys out. Like it's time that you guys band together and get this book, and you guys tell me what you think. And I will tell you what. If enough of you Columbus people actually get together and get Ethan's book and make a noise, I will personally come down there and we will do a live show down there. And whoever's down there, like, I don't care who you are, provided you're not a serial killer or something like that. But like, I don't care who you are. You come on the show. We'll get together and we'll do this up right, because this is. I've been waiting for you guys to do this. So it just don't be shy. Just come out and just say, hey, we're here. In any way, you can go to Facebook, you can go to TikTok, you can go to Instagram, like wherever you want to go to contact us, you can contact us. So let's do it up. Make Columbus like the hot spot of Ohio.
Now, why Columbus? You guys have a following in Columbus? That's a unique city to target?
So every once in a while, Tyson and I, or Tyson, will check to see in I guess what region like our show has been like most listened to and stuff like that, most downloads, most listened to, whatever.
We'd get spikes in Ohio,
yeah,
big spikes in Ohio, specifically Columbus for some reason.
Right.
Yeah,
and
so
only
started
Columbus,
making mention of that we were getting,
or at least the biggest
really
ones.
big, getting these really big spikes. So I was like,
somebody's listening in Ohio.
Right.
Cool.
So I started throwing shout outs to them, and it's definitely time in the year 2025 for you guys to just come out and just say hi, say hey, whatever. And I told you I'll come down there and we'll party it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get over to Columbus.
That'd be cool. And I will definitely be on a video call with Hunter.
Correct.
Yes.
Or something.
Go Browns.
Speaking of which, Hunter recently went to Centralia, which we have. Yes. There's one in Washington as well, but this is not that one. This is the one that the town that Silent Hill was the inspiration. I thought it was called Petrolia, but no, Petrolia is here in California.
No,
Centralia. Yeah. So, but Hunter, we were talking about you doing some kind of a remote from that at some point, and us, doing a show while you're there. But you had stuff you wanted to say about it, and we could probably end with that, I suppose. All right, so please, Hunter.
So Maria and I, who's obviously who has been on the show with us recently, I still thank her for that. We decided to go to the Poconos to this resort, and followed by, that was on the 13th, mind you. So now the 14th we had open. So I was like, you know what? She's a big fan of Silent Hill. I'm a big fan of Silent Hill. I've been there before. I don't mind going back, of course. So I said, well, it's about an hour and some change to get from there to there. We might as well just go since we're there. And that's kind of what we had planned. So now you got to keep in mind, for anyone that's never been to Centralia, right? Best time to go is like during we went, there was snow everywhere. So the best time to go is when it's not snowing, and I'll try to throw some directions and stuff up there. I'll send them to Tyson. Maybe you could just throw them into like a little bio or something like that. Or you could just find them on Google. Really easy. So the point though is, when you drive into Centralia, okay, you don't know you're there unless you know you're there. So a lot of the structures have been completely removed. There are still people living there, so you have to be kind of respectful.
Sure.
Be very respectful.
Can you smell it? I imagine.
Not in we didn't smell anything in the winter months. So now keep in mind, we're also trying to find the graffiti highway, right?
Maybe the fire's almost out finally. but please continue.
Maybe, but so we're trying to find this abandoned highway. The graffiti highway is what most tourists go there to find, right? So we're driving up and down, left, right, everywhere to find this thing. So we had pulled into like this little cemetery because I like taking cemetery pics, right? So we took some cemetery pics and we're walking past the cemetery now. We're like on this trail or something like that. We're in the right area, but we don't know we're in the right area, right? So, and this looks like this trail is not going to end. So at one point I'm like, well, why don't we just go back to the car and try to find directions, get something to eat, whatever. So that's what we did. We went to this place and got something to eat. So I'm looking up the directions and I'm like, we were like really close. And this is where Hunter had his cartoon moment. So I said, we were like really close. So we went back and we parked on the side of the highway, right? So we crossed and we found this trail. And as we're walking on this trail, it basically took us back out to the cemetery in this big open field where we already were, right? So I'm like, I said, well, it makes no sense to leave the car, parked on the side of the highway in case it gets like hit or whatever. I'll just go grab it and I'll just park it like right there because the cemetery is like right there, right? So I was like, let's park it right there. So when we're done, we could just get back in the car. So I'm walking back to the car, and this is where my real cartoon moment hit. It's like my foot just gave out, and it was like in the air, and like my whole body was just like, horizontal in the air and kind of like froze there for a second. And then boom, I hit the ground, right? But now I get up and I'm like, you know what? And it gets more interesting. So now I get up and I'm like, you know what? It's not an adventure unless you injure yourself, right? So the case in point, it was starting to get dark and we couldn't find the highway. So now we're just driving aimlessly around, right? So I'm like, we gotta go somewhere. We can't just drive around aimlessly or nothing like that. So we found this really cool place called Sleepy Hollow bed and breakfast, right? Which I want to give those guys a shout out to. And it's nestled right up there in the mountains. So we, on a whim, because I never been to a bed and breakfast, so I didn't know you had to like make reservations or you should make reservations or whatever. So and it doesn't, I don't think I saw, like when I was looking at places to stay in the area, I don't think I saw that it was a bed and breakfast, right? So we're driving up in the middle of nowhere. Like we're high in the mountains. We're in coal country, right? So we're up and I'm looking around. I'm like, this is like in the middle of nowhere and stuff like that. It's like, okay, this is how horror movies start, but okay. So we pull into these people's driveway and it does say Sleepy Hollow. And I'm like, well, this is somebody's house, right? Like,
sure.
We just called. So we tried to call, but they weren't answering the phone. So we said, we're here, right? So we'll just drive up. So we drove all the way up the big old hill and we, went in. And they confused us with a different, somebody else. But once we got that all squared away, it was a cute older couple. They started talking about how people burn their trash in that area. Like they'll put it into like a big bin or something like that, and then they'll burn it. That's how they do that, right? Well, apparently back when this town, Centralia, went on fire, apparently somebody was doing that, just that. They were putting the trash in the bin or burning the trash, however it was, and that's how it caught a vein. And the vein is a coal vein, you got to keep in mind. So however long that coal vein is, that's how long it's going to continuously burn for. That's why it's been burning since the 1960s. So, and she was going into the stories about it. So basically the people that live there in town on the outskirts, once they die, their houses are getting taken over by the government. They can never pass those houses on again. So it is an interesting place to visit. But just keep in mind, you're not going to see like, houses. I mean, you might see like an abandoned building here, there, whatever, but.
So what is the vibe? What is the vibe of the town?
The vibe of the town is very like isolated. But not so much creepy though. It's
not that it's, I've seen that it's isolated. I've seen some videos. It's a fascinating place, by the way, but like, what was your feeling standing there, Hunter?
My feelings like driving through or just being there overall was just amazement, really. It was like, it was really cool to be, obviously it wasn't cool that they lost their houses or nothing like that, but
no.
It was definitely everything that a ghost town would feel like. And again, not really scary because there's really nothing scary about it as far as I could see. But it was wonderment, awe. It was again definitely a sense of isolation because you can definitely get yourself lost up there.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
and reception, by the way, let me tell you now. When you go into Centralia, you will not have reception at all. Phone service cuts off.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Did you take pictures, videos, that kind of stuff?
Oh, tons of pictures. Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
It might be because they haven't bothered to build a cell tower out there.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you made the journey.
definitely.
And what was the service like at the bed and breakfast?
Oh,
Sleepy?
perfect. It was perfect because
how far away were these? Because it sounded like, isn't Sleepy Hollow in like Virginia or something? Like I can't remember.
No, it's in New York. But
It's in New York.
This is Sleepy Hollow, the bed and breakfast, not Sleepy Hollow, the town.
So it's just the
and they
name
have-
of. So the
they
bed and
have-
breakfast in Centralia is called Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ethan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ethan. They had at the bottom of their driveway. They had the headless horseman.
Good.
Yep.
Well, there's also a headless horseman reference in this, but I'll save it for the readers. But I'm glad you had that experience. I mean, that place is very unique, and first of all, it blows me away that they haven't figured out how to put that fire out, or they're not making the effort to put it out. Like, it really seems like it's been burning for 5 decades now, and like everyone's like, well, whatever. Like there's not like you can't like put a couple hundred tons of sand down it or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they could have.
Or just poured water. I don't know.
I know everyone knows everything on the internet, and I'm not a fire expert, but I feel like, have we made the effort to put this thing out, or are we just gonna
let a coal
hope
fire
that in the
keep
next
burning?
2 centuries? Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think that's been the actual plan for the past however many decades it's been. Is just to let it do its thing, let it burn out, or whatever they're planning on doing.
People just
I
left.
would like to know. I'm sorry, Tyson. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I just said people just left. Continue. Sorry.
Yep.
No, I'd like to know what like the medical rates, for cancers and things are in that area.
The black lung.
It's not. Yeah, that cannot be healthy.
Not
And
at all.
whatever your point of view is on science and other things, like a coal mine burning for 5 decades is not good for anybody.
Mm-mm.
And there's a reason why the government says your house cannot be passed down or sold.
Exactly.
So they know the score, but I don't know that they want to put the effort or the finance to put it out, or you would think there's something they could do. But
you would think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so for, like I said, anyone that's not in that area, that's looking to go to that area, like I said, it's coal country. It's high up in the mountains, and there's lots of like little cool, unique towns in the area. So and those people are really cool. They're friendly. We found this place. I forget the name of the town now. No, it was Mount Carmel. That's what it was called. That's the name of the town. And it's right up there. We took this road called Snake Road. It's a mountain road. It's like really windy and stuff like that. And it takes you to this town or whatever. And we found this place called Hollywood Pizza, which is both a pizzeria and a bakery at the same time. And now for and as I was telling Maria, I was like, I could see if it was like Italian pastries, but like, you know what? It's not a bad idea, of course, but and apparently it seemed to be quite popular in the town, and the pizza was actually pretty good. So,
hey man, all bets are off with that stuff matching foods. I mean, come on, one of the most popular destinations in my neighborhood is a Chinese fast food place that also serves donuts.
Nice.
So,
sure.
There's no law. There's no rules in yours too. Yeah, it's not. There's no rules anymore. People want what they want.
Yeah, we've got a happy donut. It's Chinese food and donuts, basically. It's exactly what it is. I don't know that it's still open, but it's I mean, if you can make both things, why not put them in the same place?
Exactly.
So it is getting to the end. I did want to mention this before we go, because we don't have time to talk about this specifically, but I would like to bring it up that just to commemorate at this point in time, it is February 26th of 2025. Now, back in the day when I first started making content for Combat Radio, Ethan requested me to do a special project so we could talk about it on the show.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Yep.
And since that time, what has happened is that finally Leonard Peltier was released from prison.
Do you remember that?
Yes,
God,
I
yeah.
just watched that video. I rewatched it. I hadn't seen it in years, and I rewatched our video, and we had our conversation about that, and we were pretty angry on that.
Well, we were well, actually, anyone who knows the case was probably pissed off
Yeah.
because he was definitely sent up. But yeah, he was just recently released. Biden did it last day, actually, like in the last 2 hours. He did it at the last moment. Somebody told me in the Peltier camp, this is a fun little fact, that Clinton was going to do it and then Obama was going to do it. But the FBI said, if you do like the Clinton thing, it was like, if you do it, we're going to open up something to do with another case that they had their fingerprints on. I don't know how much of it was actual fact based, but someone in the Peltier camp said there was something Whitewater or something. We're going to, and then Obama didn't do it, I think, because it was just a controversial move, and he tried to not be controversial in that kind of way. So, but Biden did it. Biden said, and honestly, the dude's been locked up since the dawn of fucking time, man. He's been locked up since before I was born, I think.
It was like, I think it was over 50 years.
Yeah.
It had gotten over 30 when we had our conversation, I believe, or it was close to 30, if not over 30.
Well, Robert Redford, director Michael Apted, they had done Incident at Oglala, which is riveting to watch.
It's a great documentary.
Riveting. Yeah, and I think you can get it everywhere on YouTube now and everywhere. But it won several Oscars. But that takes you through the case, unlike any. This is one of those moments where I suggest people who all have an opinion. Look, where can I go where everyone can tell me what they're thinking? Right, the internet all knows everything. But if you watch that movie, you are taken to a place and through a case that is beyond what I think you can fathom. And it maps out the. And I remember, that was great. Tyson, first of all, let me just say, you were brilliant with all your contributions to Combat Radio, and you're welcome back anytime.
Well, thank you.
I know you're an elitist now, and you're on a hit show called The Antisocial Show, and you've left your Combat Radio. You left your mediocre Combat Radio friends behind. But I will tell you, you were always welcome. We actually had a lot of fun with you on because we would pick a movie and we would break it down, and I think we did Sleepy Hollow. We did The Wolfman, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah, it was a good time. I'll tell you,
Super fun.
We should plan to do a movie talk next time that we have you on. I did have one in mind because I wasn't sure if you'd seen it, but I finally became familiar with the 1982 film Megaforce.
Oh yeah,
and it's
with Michael Beck.
Yeah, with Michael Beck and of course
Perseus Kambata.
And Michael Caine and
Michael Bosworth.
Yeah, Barry Bosworth.
Isn't Silva the bad guy in that?
He is Henry Silva. Barry Bostock, that was the name. By the way, fresh off of doing Pirates of Penzance on Broadway. Apparently, there's a lot of good stuff there. So you've seen it then, yes, or you just know of it? Because I imagine it's legendary.
It's not legendary for the reasons you want, though.
No, but.
I think that was. I have a theory that was a G.I. Joe script.
It feels like a G.I. Joe thing. It really does. And
I feel like they had a G.I. Joe script and they couldn't get Hasbro to let them use G.I. Joe, so they created Megaforce because it's got all the vehicles and all the bad guys and the Cobra Commander presence, but it is absolutely terrible in every possible way, but it's fun.
It's very fun. To watch. It's fun and it's silly, and it's it is actually. Go ahead.
I'm definitely gonna watch it, but there's because I like silly. I like not all the time, but I do like silly. I do appreciate goofiness, but another and I'm gonna catch heat for this, but.
This is right up there with Miami Connection.
Oh,
just
right.
So you know. This is on a Miami Connection level.
I've definitely seen that one a few times.
For me, right up there on that level would have to be, and I'm gonna catch heat for it. Dune, the original movie Dune. I'm gonna catch heat because that was dopey as hell. I like the story, but I'm sorry, but I'm a huge fan of Patrick Stewart. Huge fan, love him to pieces, but when he's running out that palace with the dog, I was like, oh no, no, you can't do that. You can't have you can't have I don't know what it is about me, but you can't have cats and dogs on a different planet Like, if it doesn't specifically say, "Hey, listen, I got this pet from Earth," but if
Hmm.
you're not doing that, like, I don't know what it is with me. It's just I can't just get past it.
Okay, so a couple of things on your Dune point. I'm sorry, Tyson. You want
No,
to chime in, or can I answer him?
I just would like to point out that they had Dune specifically in the books. They had a form of pet thing called a chair dog,
Okay.
which are dogs that are also chairs. Please continue.
And
Ethan.
I'm fairly certain that the book doesn't mention Earth, right? That
Oh no, it does.
it does
Oh, does
mention
it?
Earth.
It's 10,000 years in our future from
Well,
1964.
it's like 10,191.
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
not like that. The timeline isn't actually 10,191. It's like much more than that.
Oh,
Like
no.
some fucking Dune intellectual broke it down. Whatever. I mean, you can have a dog. Here's the thing: you always get a note on a TV show and a movie. You will always get the note: put in a dog, put in an animal. That is almost a religious practice in our business. You will always get that note. And anyone on combat radio, producers, directors who you've heard have all gotten that note. So I can see why there's a dog in it. But I will say, I'm not the fan of Dune. You are. But I do think, I do think David Lynch, rest in peace. We
Rest in
just
peace.
lost him too. And
Oh,
my
yes.
daughter has a theory that David Lynch and David Byrne are the same guy. No, I'm kidding. She doesn't. But we were talking about on how similar they were.
Well,
But
yeah.
we were wondering actually what a conversation at Bob's Big Boy between David Byrne and David Lynch would be like, and how sort of probably mind blowing it would be. But I will tell you, I thought being based at NBC Universal as we were for a time, De Laurentiis' offices were right there, and it was well known that they were trying to put together a director's cut with Lynch for decades.
Oh wow.
They were trying to do it, and he refused to do it. And there is a mountain of material. He never wanted to revisit it. I think the process, I mean, it's fairly well known. He wouldn't talk about it often. But I think he got a lot of things right in the movie.
Yeah.
The soundscape, the industrial rhythm of the noises was great. I thought the costumes and the set designs were great. Where he loses it for me, the casting is fantastic. And I do think Kyle MacLachlan was a great Paul Atreides. I think he was really, even though he admits, or he says, and I agree with this, it doesn't affect it for me, but he said he was too old for the part. And I do agree with that, but it didn't bother me. But I will tell you where he blows it. I mean, even the inventive Lynchian things, like the Baron having these, that was all great for me. The heart plug idea.
And
But,
yeah.
Yeah, the weapons with sound, that was all cool. But
The weirding modules. Yeah, sorry.
No, I felt like they ran out of money or didn't spend the money on the action sequences. And you really need that to work in a film like that. And it just doesn't. The scale of the flames, the model work, it doesn't match up. You can't really follow what's happening in that battle. It's just a bunch of guys running in one direction to the other. And I do feel like that's where he lost. But Lynch was never known for that anyway. So I don't know what the answer is. Do you get a second unit guy to handle that? But the end of the line, the bottom line is it was a movie with a lot of possibilities. It's a better movie than I think people give it credit for.
Oh yeah. It's eminently watchable.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great performances in it. Some are over the top.
Absolutely.
But
nice seeing Freddie Jones and Francesca Annis in the same film together. It was after
because they
after
did
Kroll?
that. Kroll was the one with Liam Neeson.
Yeah, with
which
Liam
is-
Neeson, Robbie Coltrane, and the one guy who was in Charlie and the Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory as a school teacher was the sorcerer Ergo in the film.
Yeah. There's a Cyclops character. I mean,
Cyclops.
Next time we have Ethan on, we're gonna have to talk about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because I have my own like beef with that movie, so it's like, but another time, of course.
Okay, all right. Well,
go ahead.
I
I have a golden ticket.
Oh,
from the producer David L. Wolper gave it to me when I was in the.
Oh, that's awesome.
He passed it on to me in a book that was based on his life. He gave me the book and the ticket when I was in the Warner Brothers mailroom.
Oh wow!
Nice.
So you've got a golden ticket.
Yep.
But don't mention the Tim Burton Wonka version on my Facebook page, because Deep Roy will defend it to his death. Deep Roy was in it. He was in Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
If you mention it, like Deep Roy goes after you. Like he's understandably so, a big defender of the movie. And I know people sometimes have made comment. We've talked about Tim Burton a lot with some of the Warner Brothers cadre. He was an interesting guy. But Deep misinterpreted some of it, that we were making fun of Burton, and he like jumped on us, like this 4-foot tall guy like attacked us, and we were like, back off, buddy. Like, we love him too, we love you, we love him, but it was just funny. You're not wrong for liking Dune. Let me just leave it at that. You're not wrong for liking. It's an interest. It's a what? How many characters have inner monologues in that movie? 13. A little much.
At least.
A little much. It's a lot. I mean, even the dog, I think, has an inner barking monologue in a couple scenes.
Oh yeah, it's like, I'm a dog. Get me out of here.
Like I said,
get me off this movie.
When it comes to the overall, the overall story of it, I loved it. When it comes to the acting, as I often say over the years of doing this show, it's because we talk about this from time to time. I think the acting was fantastic. So but it was just like my little idiosyncrasies that like the whole thing with the dog and the cats and stuff like that. It just, to me, has to make sense. And probably reading the book would probably make more sense to me. And
oh yeah, you should. The book's great.
Oh yeah, but kicking myself in the ass because the book is always better than the movie in every sense. And a lot of times, like, you can, like, where it doesn't make sense in the movie, you go and read the book and you're like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
I'll tell you, the Dune is a much longer discussion, and unfortunately, we do not have the time for it. We have to
wait. One last thing, not Dune related, but before we sign off, my wife Loda had a very interesting. She has a show.
Oh.
And she had a very interesting conversation. It's called Life in the Know, and she had a very interesting conversation about a documentary everyone should see. She had this conversation with Kakayumpa, who was Clint Eastwood's and Spielberg's location scout.
Okay.
And the documentary is called Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat.
Ooh.
And it is, I had to look at it after she suggested it. It's on par with Incident at Oglala in terms of how it's captivating to watch. So
nice.
I would just leave you with one suggestion based on my wife's show.
Please do, yes.
And you could see her talking about it and talking about incident at a soundtrack for a coup d'etat.
Soundtrack for a coup d'etat, and her show is called, did you say In the Know?
It's called Life in the Know.
Life in the Know.
Yeah, and it's she tackles a lot of interesting topics that a lot of people don't look at. So it's an interesting conversation.
And where can they listen to that?
I'll put some links up on the Brigade Radio 1 site because it's brand new. She's bagged a few episodes and released one, but
okay, that's BrigadeRadio1.org.
BrigadeRadio1.org. It'll be there for all your fun. All your criminal behavior can be found at BrigadeRadio1.org. Hey, this has been a lot of fun, guys. I hope it's not a couple of years before you bring me back, but I understand after you let me read the book.
Absolutely not. We have to get you on a lot sooner next time.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Things are going to be, doing that. So
things are going to be,
things are going to be a little easier and in some ways and harder in others, but getting the pod together should be easier as in this phase of life. So thank you very much.
Give my respects to your wife, by the way. I'm very proud of her.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So an inspiration to all of us.
It's my mother too, by the way. They were at the same time.
Yes.
They were
incredibly heroic.
Same year.
We lost Peter Jason to cancer this month.
Oh yes, rest in peace, Peter Jason.
I will tell you though, we are every day getting closer to a CAR-T therapy cure. So keep the faith. Support the Guffey Jackson Foundation because in that support comes a cure for cancer.
That's right, the Guffey Jackson Foundation.
They're close.
Yes.
So
thanks, heroes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ethan. Well, that's about all let's go ahead. But Hunter.
No, go ahead. I was like, much love.
Much love, yes.
Thank you.
That's about all the time we have for Antisocial Show. I'm Tyson Sainer.
And as always, I'm Hunter Block.
And he's been Ethan. Nope, there's the camera's that way. He's been Ethan Dettenmaier.
Thank you. It's been a privilege, guys. Thank you very much.
Be decent to each other.
Absolutely.
Peace.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ethan.
Have a good time, folks.